Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Exploring the East Coast. Originally my plan today was to head south again and visit the stations between Hitchin and Hatfield. However, my plans for this evening have changed, so instead I'm going to be heading north to Grantham and Newark. Both towns are served by a number of operators, however today I'm going to be travelling with LNER to both. So I'm here at Peterborough ready to catch the 9:59 towards York, just for one stop up to Grantham. So join me today as I see what both of the historic towns have to offer. Welcome to Flights and Times. So I've arrived at Grantham. A quick bit about the station and train services before I head into the town. Grantham's served by roughly 3 LNER services in each direction each hour. Obviously it all go to London King's Cross. Northbound they're split between Leeds, York or Lincoln and the North East and Scotland. Grantham also sees 5 or 6 Hull train services a day between London King's Cross and Hull or Beverley, and also two East Midlands Railway services in each direction each hour. One on the Norwich to Liverpool Lime Street route and one on the Nottingham to Skegness route. So there's really good connectivity to Grantham from across the East Midlands and further afield. In the summer it gets quite busy with Skegness services, which are doubled to 4 cars, but the rest of the time it is a fairly standard run-of-the-mill market town station. So I'm going to head on into the town now and see what there is to do. So although Grantham has unfortunately experienced the same as a lot of towns with some unfortunate 60s and 70s architecture, it has got plenty of historic buildings, including the Grade 2 listed Guildhall behind me. Built in 1869, it is now the Guildhall Arts Centre, continuing to serve the community of Grantham to this day. Also next door is the Grantham Public Library and Museum, which covers the history of Grantham and some of its most famous residents. Grantham was the birthplace and childhood home of former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Isaac Newton also went to school here, and it has got a few more historic figures that lived here that I will tell you about later. So let's see a bit more of what Grantham has to offer. The other side of the main road from me is the former George Hotel, now the George Shopping Centre. The hotel was mentioned in Charles Dickens' Nicholas Nickleby and is one of the many historic buildings in Grantham. Another one of Grantham's historic buildings is the Blue Pig Public House, one of only 4 remaining Tudor buildings in the town. It survived a disastrous fire in the 1660s and is still a public house to this day. Behind me is another one of Grantham's iconic buildings, St Wolfram's Church, which is the parish church of the town. Quite a difficult one to film, as the most iconic feature is the 282-foot high spire and weather vane, which has been described as one of the finest steeples in England. So just across the churchyard and Church Streetsome from Wolfram's Church is this, one of the original halls of the King's School here in Grantham. This particular hall is especially famous for being where Sir Isaac Newton and his friend Arthur Story studied in the 1600s, and is also an absolutely stunning historic building. I believe it is still part of the school and used to teach children all about science to this day. The other historic building here near St Wolfram's, just to the east of the church on Castlegate, is Grantham House, a 14th century townhouse with architectural features from various periods. It also has some stunning landscaped riverside gardens. Today it's run by the National Trust and is also the parish offices, so I believe you can visit if you've got National Trust membership for free or by paying a small donation/fee for visiting. So just a quick peek into the courtyard at Grantham House. I stand corrected, although it is run by the National Trust, it is the parish offices and resource centre for the church, so it's not open to the public, including National Trust members. But you can still catch a glimpse of the stunning building from the street, and if the gates open, into the beautiful courtyard. Now I'm at the back of the church. You've got a bit of a better view of the spire here, showing just how stunning and beautiful it is here in the centre of Grantham. If you head back up Castlegate from Grantham House and the church up towards Guildhall, you'll come across this, the Beehive Public House. Famous for having the country's only living pub sign, because here in this tree is a beehive. Yep, I don't know either, but it's been here since 1830. Well, not that exact hive, but there's been a hive here since 1830. And yeah, it's a rather unique feature of Grantham, but I love it, if I'm honest. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's South African bees here at the Beehive, and obviously as a pub, come and check it out. So I'm here back outside the Grantham Museum. I've done a full circuit of the town centre and I'm about to head back up to the station. But before I do, I want to give you a bit of info about when you can visit the different places that I have shown you today. I've not actually gone into any of them. However, the Grantham Museum behind me is open Thursday to Saturday 10 till 4, completely free. It's actually going to be celebrating its 100th anniversary in a couple of years' time. So it's got almost a century's worth of history inside the building alone. The Guildhall, it has a coffee shop and tourist information, so you can head in there even if there isn't something going on. Obviously check the opening hours online. The two pubs I've shown you, obviously you can go inside there if you're going to buy a drink or have some food if they do food. Check their opening hours before you visit. The church, completely free to enter and have a look around. Not sure again on opening hours, but it is definitely worth checking out. The only place you definitely can't visit that I've shown you are the King's School and Grantham House, which are both private property and not available to have a look around, unfortunately. But you can see them from the street and see some of Grantham's fabulous history. So I'm headed back up to the station now to catch a train one stop more up the line to Newark, and I'll show you some of the Nottinghamshire town's history. So Newark has two railway stations, Newark Northgate on the East Coast Mainline, which is behind me where I've just arrived, and Newark Castle, which is on the Nottingham to Lincoln line. There's supposedly quite a nice walk between the two along the River Trent, so I'm going to go and try and find that before I head to the actual castle, which is just across the river from Newark Castle Station. One of the most prominent features of Newark is the castle lying on the banks of the River Trent. Constructed in the 12th century by the Bishop of Lincoln, it was initially a mint, but its most famous role is in the English Civil Wars. Besieged 3 times as a garrison of Charles I, it survived the wars. However, following the surrender and execution of King Charles, was dismantled by parliamentarian forces. The castle is open as a public park. The facade on the riverside is the most complete. The rest is all ruins, and it is open daily and free of charge to wander around and explore. The beautiful building behind me, containing a Greggs, is the Grade 1 listed Governor's House, where Castle Governor Richard Willis stayed during the sieges of Newark. Prince Rupert also stayed here in 1645 following his quarrel with the King. Newark's marketplace really is the focal point of the town, with the Town Hall, Museum, Art Gallery and Butter Market, the Newark Royal Market, and plenty of historic buildings to have a look at. Just off the marketplace is Mary Magdalene Church, which is where we're heading next. Newark's parish church is the Church of St Mary Magdalene, and whilst it is only a parish church, it is notable as having the highest spire in the county of Nottinghamshire. The diocese of Southwell and Nottingham, the cathedral church is in Southwell. However, this stunning church in Newark is definitely worth a visit if you're here. I'm now sat in Newark Castle Gardens with the ruins of the castle itself behind me. As previously mentioned, the castle played an important part in the English Civil Wars, and the town as a whole played a part as well. The town is now home to the National Civil War Museum, which is located in the town centre. There's also the Queen's Sconce on the outskirts of the town, which played a part in the battles and sieges of Newark. As well as all the Civil War history, the castle also is famous for being the location of King John's death in 1216. But that's about it from me in Newark. I'm going to head down to Newark Castle Station now to get my train to Nottingham. When I'm down there, I'll give you a little bit about how to get to Newark and where there's connections to, and how much all my travels cost me today. Behind me is the former station building of Newark Castle Station. A very small part of it is a ticket office, however the rest is now a cafe and function venue. There's also another, I think the station master's house, which is now a preschool. So getting to Newark, you've got 3 trains an hour to Newark Northgate in each direction. As with Grantham, you've got a Leeds service, Edinburgh service, and either a York or a Lincoln service. So providing 3 trains an hour between them, either direction. From Newark Castle, you've got 2 services. There is a Grimsby to Leicester route, which is hourly in each direction, and then there is also a Crewe to Newark Castle terminating service, again, that runs through to Nottingham. So essentially, again, from over the East Midlands or further afield, you can get to Newark fairly easily. But that's it for me today. I'm now off to Nottingham, then going to visit the least used station in Nottinghamshire, Elton and Alston, before heading to family in Derby. So I might give you a few clips of Elton and Alston even, sorry. But thank you for watching. Goodbye.